Hello? It's generally speaking, it isn't what you want when just before you're about to go on stage, a random fucking member of the front row displays more talent than you're ever going to have in your life. This is fucking bullshit. Of all the gigs to be recorded, I've got to do one when fucking Sean Paul and Blue Cantrell are in the front row. Well, what you didn't know, mate, is that I spit some pretty tight bars myself. You probably didn't know this being at your level, but you are in the presence of MC Diabetes. I'm going to do 3 stories for you, 4 if we've got time. And notice how I said stories and not jokes, because these are just true things that happened that I think are they're funny, but, you know, time makes fools of us all, doesn't it? So, 3 stories. The first one is about social media. The second one is about the worst hangover I've ever had in my life. The third one is about a Greggs in Liverpool, and the fourth one is about accidental racism. So that's why we might not have time for that one. Comics nowadays, they like to come on stage and say, oh, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook. I can't do that. I'm not on Twitter because I got banned. I used to tweet about all the gigs that I'd done. That was kind of a thing that I used to do. And I was doing a gig last year in a place just outside of Manchester, a place called Earlham. It was an Earlham Working Men's Club, which is in itself an oxymoron, because it was fucking horrible. It was full of sort of big, hairy, tattooed, the kind of people that only vote for the BNP, because that's the one they can fucking spell. Awful people. They hated me, I hated them. I did a 20-minute set of comedy just to silence. I went straight off stage to no claps, no applause, no nothing. I went straight onto Twitter and I posted, I hate Earlham. Because Earlham is dirty, Earlham is backward, and Earlham can fuck off. It was a bit of a rage tweet, I'll admit, I was hot-headed, but I tweeted that. I went to the bar to go get a drink, I went outside for a cigarette, and I felt better. Now, 20 minutes later, my phone was going mental. I checked my phone, and I don't know how many of you are familiar with the iPhone feature called autocorrect. It's basically like a spell checker, and if you put a word into your phone that it doesn't understand, your phone will autocorrect it to a word that it does understand. And my phone autocorrected the word Earlham to Islam. So that's why I'm not on Twitter. And, I mean, let's be honest, why did you think I grew the beard? Second story number 2, is the worst hangover I've ever had in my entire life. I used to go to house parties when I was younger. Don't really do that anymore. When I was about 15, 16, I used to go to a regular house party. It was like a once-a-month house party that my mate Sam used to have, because his parents were like, you know, they were those sort of parents that were like, if you're going to drink and get paralytic, we'd rather you do it in our house. They were, what's the word? Neglectful. And he lived in the middle of nowhere. He lived in this rural village in Lancashire, where I'm from. Very rural, very remote. It's very much sort of like field cow house. And that's all you need, because you get drunk in the house, you do your drugs in the field, then you take turns trying to ride the cow. And it was after one of these that I had one of the worst hangovers I've ever had in my life. Because the next day, I was at a bus stop in the middle of nowhere. And it was one of those, like, one bus comes every hour kind of services. And I was there, and I had my iPod in, I had my hoodie up, and I was physically shaking. The hangover was that bad. I was just trying to get through it. And all of a sudden, the beer shit started. Now, when I'm listening to music and I'm around other people and I need to fart, I've got a little technique where what I do is I take one earbud out and then I can kind of listen to music with this ear and then judge the level of fart with this ear. And I'm just kind of like that, and you know, no one's any of the wiser. But I thought, you know what? No one's around. I don't need that technique. I'm going to go for the fart. I'm going to go for the kind of fart we want to turn around and just be destruction. So I adopted this position. I braced my bum cheeks together, and I went. Check. Whoop, not followed through. Great. And I stood at the bus stop feeling all proud of myself. I sniffed up. I was like, oh, God, that really smells. So I went to waft it away. And as I wafted it away, my hand caught something, and I turned around, and it was a small child. And I realised that I had just farted in a small child's face and then slapped him for the privilege. Right, last one. I used to live in Liverpool. I lived in a studio apartment in Liverpool for 6 months opposite a Greggs, Quinne. I used to have a Greggs meal deal for my lunch every day for the 6 months that I lived in Liverpool. Literally every single day. And you might think the idea of a man sitting on his own in a studio apartment stuffing Greggs meals deals down his face, you might look at that as a bit of a low point in someone's life. But to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever been fucking happier. Greggs do a meal deal, right? They do a meal deal at Greggs where you can get a sandwich, a drink, and a cookie for £3. That's a great deal. What I used to do is I used to get an extra steak bake for an extra £1.30. Then I'd have the steak bake as a starter, the sandwich as a main, the cookie as a dessert. That's a 3-course meal for under a £5, my friends. One time I was in Greggs and there was this woman, she was before me, she was getting her meal deal. She walked up to the counter, she was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a meal deal, but instead of the cookie, I want to get myself a pizza slice. And I'm behind her going, that's not how this shit works, bitch. You can't chop and change. But in my head, I think, whoa there, Freddy, hold on a minute. Because if they let her off with this, that opens up a previously new undiscovered avenue of Greggs meal deal combinations. I could legitimately walk up to that counter and go, guess what I'm having, motherfucker, with my 3 sandwiches? I'm having one of your meal deals, bitch. But the woman behind the counter, she was wonderful. She just went, I'm so sorry, you can't actually swap your cookie for a pizza slice and still be on the meal deal. If you look to your left, there's a poster and it shows you all the different sandwiches, all the different drinks, all the different cookies you can have. Have a look at that poster and then get back to me. This woman, she didn't even read the poster. She glances at the poster at best and just goes, nowhere on that poster does it physically say that I can't swap my cookie for a pizza slice. That's false advertising. I could sue you. And the lady kept her cool so well, she just went, well, if you are going to sue us, then I can give you the name and number of customer service. But to be honest with you, I don't think that constitutes as false advertisement. And because she'd been so nice and polite, there was no way for the argument to kind of naturally escalate. So this woman had to resort to just being a bitch. So she just went, oh, well, you're obviously not a lawyer. Otherwise, you wouldn't be working at Greggs. The lady behind the counter, without missing a beat, just went, well, you're obviously not a lawyer either. Otherwise, you wouldn't be eating at Greggs. This woman stormed out of the shop. I woke up with me sandwich, drink, cookie, go get myself my usual meal deal. But instead of getting that extra steak bake, I got myself a pizza slice. Then I put the cookie from the meal deal into my pocket. I walked out of Greg's with a sandwich, drink, pizza slice, walked straight to the woman, just went, well, they let me have no fucking meal deal. Guys, I'm doing a show here in October. It's Monday the 30th of October. There's a flyer on each of your seats. None of the jokes that you've seen will be in that show. It's free entry. You've just got to reserve it online. I'd love for you to come because I'm doing a live DVD and I really need to put bums on seats. You can reserve tickets now. Thank you ever so much for having me. Cheers.